Welcome back to the 924 project. I hope in the first video you saw we were just going through some of the stuff that we've already done. Obviously we fitted the new disc bearings, had stuff vapor blasted, new shocks, the axle's been powder coated and stuff like that. So bit of history for it. If you haven't seen the first video, I got this car in 2019. I did a little bit of work and then obviously the pandemic hit, work took over and I barely touched it. It's now, what are we in? October 2022. So I dragged it out. I thought I'd get it on its wheels, get the suspension on, get it in my workshop and get cracked on with it. And I've set myself a bit of a deadline, which I'll probably mention in a later on in the video. So this video, we want to be looking at this rot here. Obviously it's not going to pass an MOT. So we've got to cut this out and see how bad it is, and then we're going to start repairing the inner sill and then work our way back out. So we'll have a bit of a closer look and see how bad that is. So this is a bit of a close-up of the rot. As you can see, it's just the original panel. It's just years and years. It was parked outside for a long time and it's just sort of decayed. Water's got in and it's just slowly rusted it away. And you can see, we keep it in focus, it's literally rotten sort of all the way down the seam. So I think the easiest way of doing this is literally chopping out part of the outer sill, see how bad it is, and then we'll weld the inner sill from there, and then we'll eventually weld a new section of outer sill on. So you can see it sort of runs into there. There's a little bit of hole, there's a hole in there, which we'll probably get from the inside. As you can see, it's all around the axle mount, so it will fail an MOT for it. So right, we'll get the grinder out and we'll cut some of this out and see how bad it really is. So I've chopped a bit out and we can see a little bit more. You can see the rear axle mount there, that sort of new sort of panel there I put in when I had the axle out. So that bit of steel there with a little bit of epoxy mastic just dribbling down it. So we can strengthen that area up really well now. We're going to cut out this outer sill. So, but you can see it's just rotted into the cavity. We're probably going to have to chop down a little bit further. So we got this a full length of sill off, pretty much all the way to the wing there. You see it's not too bad the nearer you get to the wing. There is a little bit where the drains are, but they'll clean up. I'm not too worried about that. It is solid as well, and just as gradually you get nearer to the back of the car, round near the axle mounts and stuff like that, obviously that's where it's really bad. But overall that's not bad at all really. That's pretty much easily repairable. We'll chop out some of the really rubbish stuff, grind it back so we can weld to it well, but it has been sort of treated. You know, you can see signs of wax in the cavity, especially up in the wheel arch area. Right over there you can just see the grommet in the background there. There's a lot of wax up there, so it has been wax oiled. So we'll have to clean this up. We'll get the abrasive pads on the grinder and get rid of some of this rust and see what we've got to weld to. So what I'm going to do now, I've ground this back and obviously exposes the spot welds, how the outer seal was actually welded onto the car as factory, but you can see it's all, you can peel it right back and then that exposes the full inner seal. So what I'll do, I'm going to drill all these spot welds out and get rid of the rest of the outer seal, and then I'm going to sand this right back, and where I need to repair it I will repair it, and I'll probably run, I don't know, a lower section and then weld it in. So I'll get the drill out and weld and drill all these spot welds out. It'll take a little while, but I want it doing properly. So, as typical welding jobs go, it's just got worse and worse. Ended up taking those spot welds out, realised part of the floor section that's sort of in between like this strengthener panel and the tub, if you like, that was rotten. So I started chopping that out, and the more I sort of poked at it, the more it started to fall to bits. So we've ended up taking more and more, and obviously I've chopped this lower part of the strengthener panel out. I'll do some repairs to that. I'll put a picture up or do a bit of footage and show them what I'm going to do with that. I've just got to be a little bit aware now of how much I'm taking out, because obviously it's on a ramp. The outer sill's not really structural in my eyes, it's more of a finishing panel. The bit in the middle is certainly a strengthener, but obviously your main sort of strength in that there is your main tub chassis section. As you can see, just there is your seat belt mounts. You've got seat mounts down there, so just got to be careful what we're doing. So I'm just going to carry on and see where it takes me. So I think we've chopped out most of what we're going to chop out. I might just have a bit of a go at this bit here, but obviously it's a bit difficult to get into because obviously I don't want to go too high on the sill. I want to keep below this sort of where the panel sort of changes shape, because that'll keep the strength and it won't warp as much when it comes to be welded up. So obviously I've chopped the inner sort of strengthener panel out. Part of the floor section which adjoins the strengthener panel is rotten, so I've got to make that. And obviously this front section all seems pretty good. A little bit of rust, but it's solid, so I'll clean that up and treat it. So we're pretty much the full length of the sill there. With the strengthener panel, what I'm going to do, I'm going to chop out the rot here. You can see it's just started to corrode and creep up. I'll chop that out and I'll weld a new strip of metal in there, join it across there, and then effectively it will be the same depth as what it would be originally, and then I can spot weld to it, so it'll be all nice fresh metal, so it should weld really nice. So it's going to take a bit of work, but the time will pay off because it'll weld up quite nicely and it'll be strong, which is the main thing. I hope you enjoyed this so far, joining me on my journey. The aim to get it done by next August. Frank Casti, I'm sure some of you guys are aware, runs his annual event, Megaphonics. I think he's just announced the date of 13th of August next year, I think. So that's my plan, so we can drive down to that. As long as it's mechanically sound, I'm not fussed about paintwork. It's fine as it is. But yeah, mechanically sound, MOT'd, get down there for Megaphonics 2023, around the corner, can't believe it. So yeah, follow me on my journey. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you get notified of the videos coming up, because obviously there's going to be a few videos to this. We haven't even looked at the engine yet, and yeah, trust me, it needs some work. So hope you've enjoyed it, and see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.